皆さんこんにちは and welcome to Shogo's podcast. So this is the Omake talk of the video where I talked about black companies. I hope you enjoyed watching the main part. If you haven't seen the main video yet, I have the link in the description box so you can take a look at the video first. And here in the Omake talk today, I like to talk about my own experiences with black companies. Now, to be very honest with you, in my past videos, like where I introduced myself and I talked about my past, my experiences and such, I've already been saying that what kind of business I've been involved in and what kind of companies I worked at. So eventually, if you listen to my stories, you would probably notice which company I'm talking about. If you look back at my video, especially the one where I introduced myself, you would probably immediately realize that one of the companies, the way I introduce it is a little bit different from the other two. So I hope you can guess and let me know if you find out which one I'm talking about, okay? So a lot of Japanese people think that black companies are usually, big companies that have a lot of history, especially because in the main part too, I explained that because of the remnants of the period of high economical growth and all the people in the management class, the older people in the generations are kind of suppressing the young, and I explained it like this way, right? But actually not just the big companies, but actually the startups, the small, very small companies that the labor acts, the laws can't be enforced that much because they're too small and such. These companies can often be ブラック企業 as well, actually. And for my case, it was that pattern. So it was actually a very small company. It was just me, the president, and the founder of the company, and also, well, of course there was people coming in and out, but maybe like about 5 people, I think. Yeah, and it was definitely a black company because the company is really small. It's kind of like friends working together. Even if we're not friends, your boss will be like, "No, you're my friend, right? Come on, work for me." This kind of mood, this kind of atmosphere, Yeah. So anyways, I used to work in the tourism industry and such, but I did a lot of experiences where tourists, people from foreign countries can come to our facilities and do cultural experiences. And I was literally, well, I have a few things I want to introduce to you today, but my first thing I wanted to say is that I was actually literally working 24/7 actually for that company. So literally 24/7 is literally 24/7. It's like people would be like, come on, sure, you were resting at some point, right? But I was actually, of course, doing the experiences at the facility, actually doing the customer service. And also, I had to take all the phone calls because out of the company, I was the only one that can speak English, actually. So I had to take all the phone calls and I had to do all the replying for the emails, which I had to take home and do, because at work, at my workplace, I would do the customer service, teach everyone how to do things and such about, related to cultural experiences and such. And all the emails and phone calls I would do once I got home, yes. And that of course, I would do on Saturdays and Sundays too. And basically, the only day off for the cultural experience itself was only Sunday. And on Sunday, I still would have to reply to emails and such. So I was literally working. And which was really there's a really funny story actually. When I was still working at that company, I had my weddings actually, one in Japan in Kyoto and one also in China in Beijing. But I still had to work when I was in Beijing in China. My wife is Chinese, right? So I was in Beijing for like 5 days, I think. Stayed for about 5 days for the wedding. I went to greet all my new relatives and such and everything. But during the 5 days, I still had to work. And you might know in China, the internet is a little bit restricted and you need to pay extra to be able to use Japanese internet from China. So I actually paid an extra 5,000 yen a day, actually, for my own money to do the job in China while doing my wedding, actually. So that was how much I was really working, yes. And yeah, as I just said, so the phone and also the computer that I was using to do my work at the company was my personal ones. So people will be calling to my personal phone I have in my hand right now, for example. So I was paying for, of course, for the phone bills, right? So I was like, paying for everything, for myself. And yeah, exactly. And also, I made a video, talking about the language, the words that you shouldn't use to your boss, right? 10 phrases that you shouldn't use to your boss. And in that video, too, I said, at working at one of the companies, I was taught once that "はい" and "かしこまりました" are the only things that you should say, right? And that is this company that we're talking about right now. So, because I was literally running everything at that time, letting the guests come into place and, doing all the reservations and phone calls and everything, there's something that I want to fix about, sometimes I want to revise something about the experience or make things better, or I have, some requests to my boss, right? I wish this would be better, or something like that. So there was a time when I told him, I wish we had more of this, or like some kind of item or something. And then he told me, please just shut up, and what you're going to be saying to me from now on is just "はい" and "かしこまりました," which is definitely regarded as pawahara, one of the harassments that I introduced today. And yeah, and talking about harassments, there was a timing when we had to work almost till midnight, and he was after we did kind of like a dinner show thing, and after all of our guests were gone, he started drinking the leftover alcohol that was left that we didn't serve to our guests, and he started drinking it, and he got really drunk. And I had just one coworker that was the same age as I was, and he got his clothes ripped. What he was doing was he was at the sink and washing the dishes that the guests used during the dinner show. It was actually it was a dinner show, so there was some tableware that they used, and he was washing it. And then the boss, the founder, the president, came up to him, and he kind of grabbed him from behind him. He was washing the dishes, right, and he started ripping his shirt. And I think he had like a jacket or something, so he probably wore that to go home. But yeah, he literally ripped his shirt, and he was like totally drunk. Yeah, I remember that so much. Yeah, just like as if it was yesterday. Yeah. And also, the worst part was, in Japan, if you work at a company, when it's time for you to get your pay, being paid by your company, it's a law that you must submit your workers these pay slips, the information about like how much the amount of the money was, and this amount was like taken for insurance, or this part was taxes, this paperwork, right? The pay slip. While I was working at that company for about 1.5 years, I never received a payslip, actually. So it was completely illegal the whole time. Yeah. And in the end, we found out that he wasn't paying for our insurances, which is also something that a company must do if they're going to be hiring employees. If they're going to be hiring employees, they must pay for the insurances for them, taking the money from the payments, yes. But he wasn't doing that, actually. So we were really surprised. We were just about to quit, actually. Yeah. So because we need all the paperwork to quit and to start working at a different company, we asked them, we really need it now. It's not an option. We need it. Otherwise, it's against the laws, right? And he kind of made all the old ones that he didn't make before, and we found out that he didn't pay for all of our insurances. So, which means that if we, like, for example, if I've gotten sick during work, I wouldn't be able to receive my insurances, actually. So it would have been a tragedy, actually. So that was probably like the most surprising experience for a black company experience there, yes. Yeah, so that was my story exactly. But in the main video too, and here in the market talk, I've been saying as if all the companies in Japan are terrible. But of course, there are a lot of great companies too. Like for example, I have a lot of friends who are presidents and actually running companies, and there are a lot of companies that I've studied before, and they have very good presidents that, they're promoting really, what should I say, they're starting a new era, I guess I should say, young presidents starting new companies and starting new ways of working and kind of trying to get rid of the old ways and such. And there's a lot of hope, I think, yeah. Because especially like my brother, he is still in the third year of university. So he's probably going to be starting to find jobs this year, I think. But if you go and look for the proper companies, there are a lot of good people out there, of course, but yeah. But I guess compared to other companies, Japan does tend to have more ブラック企業 these kind of companies compared to other countries. You can let me know if your country or the area you live have these kind of companies too. If you can let me know, that'd be great. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, if you're going to be working in Japan someday, you don't have to, completely be despaired, There is definitely a place for you to work happily as well. All right, so everyone, thank you so much for watching the main video and also this podcast, the Omake Talk. Again, as I always say, my main channel has a membership where we make easygoing videos, where I kind of show a different side of us, a relaxed version of us, and all the profit that we make from the membership will be used for donation and also for the Voices from Japan series, for what should I say, for thank you money to the people that we interview, yes, and such. So I hope you could take a look at our membership through the link in the description box. Okay, all right. So thank you very much. Well, that was, what did I just say? Thank you so much, everyone. ありがとうございました。